Hey friends, welcome to the very first episode. Yes, you heard right. Episode 1 of L2LT podcast. I'm your host, Jax, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ron.
Hello, Jax. Thank you for the intro. It is great that we are finally doing this. So before we start, let's give our audience a quick background on who we are. Me and Jax have been teaming up since uni back in UK. That is about 14 years ago.
No
Do you
way.
believe it, Jax?
Really?
We shared a lot of interests back then, so like sports, cars, barbecue, drinking, girls, basically having a good time. Out of all these, the one we clicked the most is gaming.
Yes.
Since then, we have been teaming up and be each other's core buddy ever since.
Yeah, I mean, like, gaming is just brilliant. Okay, who doesn't love gaming? And I'm sure the audience, if you're listening to our podcast, you probably quite enjoy gaming as well. So our podcast is going to be about our favorite hobby, gaming. But talking about enjoying co-op games, can you remember the game that started all these co-op, midnight co-op sessions, you know?
I have to say Titan Quest.
Oh, yeah. I actually
Yeah.
totally forgot about Titan Quest. I thought it was Borderlands 2, but now you mention it. Titan Quest was the first one because we used to game on the PC mainly. I had a gaming PC. You had a gaming laptop, if I remember right.
No, yeah, that is kind of a gaming
Yes.
laptop, but not really.
Yeah, it's good enough if it games. I mean, that's a great thing about games. I mean, like any device you use can be gaming. It can be mobile phone, it can be consoles, it can be PCs, and it could be Steam Deck. I hope I can get Steam Deck soon. Okay,
Very
can't
soon, I
wait.
heard.
Yes. So Borderlands 2 is the game that came to my mind, and actually also Payday 2. You know, we sank a lot of time
yes.
in Payday. You know,
A
And
lot of
we u-
frustrating times.
Exactly. It was quite difficult. And if you played
Yeah.
Payday 2, you would know. And if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. It's a bit old now,
Yes.
but it's still a great game.
Yeah, so basically you actually have to aim and shoot in Payday 2, Jax. So that leads us to our name of the channel, L2RT, which translates to L2 and RT button of the PS and Xbox controller. It's kind of like a no hip fire channel for us.
Well, in Titanfall 2, all I do is hip fire with my alternator. That's the only thing I do. I don't ADS in that game, okay? But I don't use other guns in that game. That's why sometimes I'm pretty alright, sometimes I just kind of suck. So we should have called it, I reckon we should have called it the hip fire channel. But actually thinking about it now, if you typed in hips fire channel or hips on fire channel, something different might come up. So actually don't
Might be
do that.
something better.
Don't go away. You never know, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ron, tell us, where do you game nowadays?
Nowadays, well, overall I game on all platforms. So for PC, for strategy games like Warhammer 3, Civilization, I'm also a big fan of story-driven games, so PlayStation is a must for me. But right now, I'm mostly gaming on the Xbox. It's mainly because it is the mutual platform we have, and it's also very hard for me to get a PS5. And I also managed to grab a Series X in retail price.
Yeah, lucky
Yeah,
man.
I was very
you know?
lucky, yeah.
Yes,
So,
I remember you
Jax,
telling me the story
yeah.
on the WhatsApp. Oh my god, I got the Series X, you know?
Yeah,
Because I got the Series S first, okay, when it came out. Actually waited a month, okay? So right now the only console I have is the Series S because I don't have a 4K TV, and Series X is just a lot harder to get in retail price especially. So I mainly game on the Game Pass right now because I'm trying to save some money, you know. Just Game Pass is amazing. Apart from, I just bought a game recently called Elden Ring. So that was probably the first game I bought in a
Yeah.
little while. Anyway, I also have the M1 MacBook Air, which I'm trying to game on that. I have what game do I have there? I have Humankind on there on Steam because I just can't get Game Pass PC to work there. So I've tried it on Windows ARM using Paradise 16. I've read on the forums saying that a few games work, but I just keep having trouble with the Microsoft Store, which isn't exactly the best thing on earth, right? So if any of our audience know the best way to run Game Pass on M1 MacBooks, then please help a brother out. Leave us the comments below and tell
Yeah,
us how to
please.
do it, you know?
Jax is very desperate, but he actually might get a Steam Deck very soon, so
Oh, I
that
can't
might
wait.
not be needed, mate.
Exactly. But if you guys can help me out, I don't need a Steam Deck no more, right?
Yeah.
Just game one in my book. Actually, I probably still want the Steam Deck. It just looks amazing, all these videos
Yeah.
we watch online, and I just feel like it works out. Sometimes I'm just in the car waiting,
Yeah.
that kind of
And
helps.
that's why people love the Switch as well, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. But
Game on the go.
don't get me started on the Switch. That could be another episode. Okay. So talking about Xbox being our mutual console right now for last gen and this gen, being in Hong Kong and Asia Pacific, there just isn't that many Xbox players. Like last gen when we tried to play Titanfall 2, without knowing how to switch the region, we just no players in the games or Battlefield, right? So Ron, being a Xbox gamer nowadays, what Xbox game would you recommend to non-Xbox players to try out right now?
Well, first of all, I will go with Forza Horizon because that's what we got for driving on the Xbox, but also Halo if you are in for shooters.
Oh yeah.
Halo Infinite, yeah.
Yes. So Halo Infinite being the sixth entry in a 20-year franchise
Yeah.
is definitely something that I would agree actually. That the non-Xbox players, you should definitely try it out. I'm sure if you're a gamer, you would have heard of Halo before. Okay, so why is it the best time to try it out now? Because both the single player and the multiplayer is no longer on Xbox only, it's also on PC. But more importantly, the multiplayer is now free. So there is no reason not to try it out, right? So
Yes.
talking about multiplayer shooters, okay, Ron, what was your favorite multiplayer shooter last gen?
Last gen is still got to be Titanfall 2, mate. Titanfall 2, what we really like about Titanfall 2 is how fluid it is, but it's also very hard to master.
Oh,
The
yeah.
gunplay is excellent, the gadget is just awesome.
Yes.
In
Which one
different
was your
kind of
favorite?
fights. Yeah, well, you mean the gadgets? The gadgets
Yes.
got to be the grappling hook, mate. That's
Yes.
the only thing I ever use. You got crazy kills out of that thing.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And when you talk about the skills to master bunny hopping and air strafing, it was just
Oh,
something
yeah.
totally new to me, all right? It's just the concept. And trying to use it on a normal controller, I just either able to run away or I'm able to aim. So I have to sacrifice on one of those,
That's why you have to
Exactly.
get the elite controller, mate.
Thank you very much, Yes. So actually another shooter I would like to mention is a class-based shooter, and I'm sure most of the people know it already, Overwatch. I reckon that I really enjoy that game because it really with the class base, it really promotes the teamwork. So, talking about teamwork and multiplayer shooters. So Ron, how do you feel about Halo Infinite multiplayer?
Well, let's first of all talk about its gunplay. It is an excellent game with a gunplay and it is quite solid. You've got a lot of different kind of weapons that have different feel and actually use in different situations. So my favorite gun, for example, is the shock rifle. It is like a light sniper rifle, so it's like a scout rifle. You can use it for a longer range, but in close to mid-combat, it's still useful because you can one-shot someone without a shield. What about you, Jax?
Oh yeah. My favorite is gonna be the Needler and the Skewer Sniper, It's just so satisfying getting a kill with the Skewer Sniper rifle. I mean, I'm not a sniper guy, but I'm enjoying the snipers in Halo. Like there's a few times that I would get one or two kills, But I think the best weapon for multiplayer is definitely the melee weapons.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure you also love the energy sword.
Yes. That's the only weapon I can flank with.
Yes. Like, that's the only weapon that I can get maybe a few kills in a row in one life with,
Yes.
I prefer the energy sword to the gravity hammer. Mainly because with the energy sword, you can lunge forward. It feels like you can close the distance better.
Yes. Mainly because I think the gravity hammer, you have to time it properly. When you actually master it, it's actually a great weapon. You can kill a few guys with one strike. Yeah.
Yes.
Pair
For
it-
me, I'm struggling with jumping in and then just mid-air hitting it
Yes.
and then just missing. But then I always get killed by mid-air gravity hammer shots,
Yeah.
Yes.
Pair it with grapple hook. It will be amazing if you can manage to time it.
Oh, yes.
People won't
Yes.
see you coming,
Like
mate.
Oh yeah, because let's talk about the equipments of the game as well. It's just not about the guns, but there's so many different equipment. Oh my god. We
Yes.
like Titanfall 2, so the grapple is such a good addition to
Yes.
Halo.
Yeah, it's not just simply a straightforward grapple. You can actually slingshot it a bit. I don't see a lot of people doing it, but I really enjoy you can actually do it, and you can flank to different locations that people won't expect you. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sling really far. Like I'm still trying to master. Well, I'm gonna say master. I'm just trying to get used to using the grapple, because half the time I try to sling onto a bridge in a map called Aquarius, and I just end up flying over to the other side of the map, and most of the time getting killed.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you can grapple to just like a second floor, just an upper level, and then kill a sniper, that is really amazing. And talking about, it's not only the grapple, like there are so many different equipments, like the shield wall.
Oh, yes.
The shield wall is just so good for holding down corridors and control points. Yeah, what other equipment do you like, Rod?
Oh, what other equipment I like? I actually like the thrusters a little bit more after you told me about it. The thrusters
Oh,
actually
yeah.
can just flank left and right, and people just can't actually shoot you in that timing because you're moving quite
Yes.
fast. I like it. You have a little
Exactly.
bit cooldown of it, so you can't actually spam it a lot, so you can't see people flying
Exactly.
around with grapple hooks or thrusters. But that is actually quite fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But half the time I wish I can spam the thruster, just left, right, bamboozle them.
That
But
would be ideal.
yeah, like, I feel like the thruster is really good on the one-on-one game, one-on-one gunfight. If you're both using the rifle, and then especially the BR, because it's like a burst fire single shot. So a lot of time people might ADS, and then if you just go left and right, it just takes a little bit longer time for them to look around. And that's just, I really enjoy the thruster. Another equipment that I really enjoy is called the repulsor, because if someone's charging at you with a gravity hammer like an idiot, like myself, and then you can just bounce them off and then no scope them with your sniper.
Yeah, you
Have
can.
you used that before?
Yeah, I actually used it. I actually bounced people off the edge of the map and a few grenades
Oh.
as well. That was quite unexpected
Okay.
before I used it, yeah. The first
Okay.
time I used it, I bounced people
Okay.
grenades away. I was like, did I just need that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, can you bounce kill? Oh yeah,
Actually,
in what's that map?
recharge. There's a place where people jump
Oh,
to
yeah.
get the gravity hammer. Yeah. You
Oh
can
yeah, and then you just bounce them off. Yes, that,
Yeah.
that one. I really enjoy that map actually. Yes. So like talking about like the repulsing explosions, you can also bounce back the rockets and grenades. Talk
yeah,
about
rockets.
explosions. Like I really enjoy the audio in Halo Infinite. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me just tell the audience why I suddenly have this epiphany of like actually first time hearing the audio of the game, because my setup is normally I play on the TV, right? So I have a sound bar, but because of my house settings, so I only play on like volume 5 out of 35. So half the time I just don't actually hear the game. I'm just trying to go in with the reflex. But recently I have a newborn daughter, so nowadays I've got to put the headphones on, and oh my god, it's changed my life. Putting, as you mentioned a lot of times,
Yes.
headphones on the shooter is
Yes.
really, really amazing.
The first time you actually try surround sound on a headphone, it's like seeing color for the first time, mate.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. And I really think having headphones on for Halo, like the sound holding is really good, because I normally just run around in Halo previously, but now I've got the headphones on. I realize I play a lot slower, and that I'm trying to be more aware of the surrounding, and it helps me to play the objectives as well.
Yes. Looking forward to play more tactical shooters with you again as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And with that, there are different gameplays to that as well. But sticking on to the audio, I really one part of Halo multiplayer I really enjoy is the announcement by the AI. I think they're just so funny and they're so witty. Like when you do different actions, your AI will announce things. The start of the game, for example, a rocket launcher is spawning, and like one of my favorite is when you're getting the skewer sniper rifle, it will say something like "kebab the more Spartan," being like. I just miss kebabs, to be honest, and I'm gaming this midnight, I hear kebab the more, and I'm just like, oh my god, why did you say that? But it's just kind of witty, I really enjoy that.
So I think the AI you use is actually
Yeah.
called Lumu. It's one of these AI you can choose when you are you are playing the game. It give a little bit of a comedy break for you when you're playing such an intense game. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because without the headphones, I didn't actually hear it previously. I just didn't know it existed. You know, after putting the headphone on, I just chuckled a few times. Another one, which is classic, when you get the gravity hammer, they would say something like, "Gravity hammer acquired."
Oh, yes.
Enemies' bones cry out in terror. I'm like, oh my god, that's so good. And then it actually puts a lot of pressure on me because I'm like, okay, let's actually kill a few people, you know, not getting repulsed back.
Yeah, I'm
you know.
using another AI
Yeah, so-
for me. I'm using the butler. He's just like this British gentleman, like Alfred from Batman, talking to you. He's very posh.
Oh, like the
yeah,
butler,
very
yes.
posh and polite. But when you get a kill with the gravity hammer, he just says the most weirdest thing, like, spread that one on a cracker. What does that even mean, mate?
Yeah, so it's like spreading the bones on the crackers,
Yeah.
you know, like cheese on cracker. So yeah, that's
Alright,
great.
cool. First of all, you got the classic modes like Team Deathmatch, which is called Slayer, Capture the Flag. There's also something called Stronghold, which is basically King of the Hill. Total Control is just controlling points, just like you do in Battlefields. There's actually three new modes actually, which first is called Stockpile, which you battle with two different team battles to capture batteries. Second one is called Fiesta, which is basically gun game from Call of Duty, but with the twist is every time you die, you spawn with different weapons. And also Oddball, which people contest about the ball in the middle of the map. How long can you hold on to it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love Oddball, you know. I heard you're not a big fan
No,
of
I'm
Oddball,
not.
Ron, but I really enjoy Oddball. So as you mentioned, it's just two teams of four trying to fight out the ball, and whichever team holds the ball the longest will win the match. But when you have the ball, you can only melee people.
Yeah.
You can't use your guns, and when you use your guns, you have to drop the ball, obviously. But with the recent update, you can now throw the grenade without
really?
dropping it
I had
first.
no
So
idea.
when you throw the grenade, you'll automatically drop the ball. But I feel like when you have the ball and when you're melee, the damage is higher. And I enjoy that game because it forces everyone to be in a corner of the map. You know, and you have to you get to learn different gravity of the map as well. So some teams will like to hide here, some teams will like to hide there as well. So I feel like you should give Oddball another try.
Yeah,
Ron.
the main reason I don't really like it is because the teams I've played with, they don't actually play the objectives. So that's why I don't really like
Oh
it.
yeah.
So my favorite mode is actually Fiesta, since I get to try a lot of different type of guns that I usually won't be able to or don't want to. It also forces me to use different kind of equipment as well. So it is quite good compared to, like, say, Slayer, that most of the time you actually get to use is only a rifle.
Yeah.
What about you, Jax? Do you like Fiesta?
I really enjoy Fiesta as well, and I feel like it should be the first game mode that most players new to Halo Infinite should play. You get to experiment with all the different guns and try it out, and I mean, sometimes you get spawned with guns that you don't like, and then you can just always pick up and change out the weapons from the enemy's drops, you know. So Fiesta, definitely a great one to start, you know. And
Yes.
and I think Slayer is also good as well to try it out, to try out the pacing. And there's a few guns on rotation that changes all the time. But, you know, Fiesta, definitely a great one to start with, you know. But, you know,
Yes.
game modes alone doesn't make the game. The maps has to be great as well. And I have to say, I really enjoy the maps of Halo Infinite. I think all the maps are designed great, you know. There isn't really maps that I really don't like. And different maps will have different game modes attached to the maps as well. So, like, for example, one or two maps may have only 3 game modes. And my favorite map currently is Aquarius and Launch Site. And both of them, I mainly play Slayer and Oddball, actually. So I really enjoy those two as well. What was your favorite map, Ron?
Well, let's talk about launch site first, mate. I don't really like that map at all.
Why is
Compared
that?
to you, yeah. Yeah, but I think, well, the map is only available for 4v4, and I think it's actually too big for it, but it's also too small for big team battles.
Yeah.
For 4v4 maps, is a little bit changed to the pacing I get used to. It's also not very concentrated, the combat, compared
Yeah.
to other maps.
Yeah.
So it's quite different and feels a little bit unbalanced for my taste.
Yes. Launch
So,
Site is
yeah.
is asymmetrical in a way. It's like a U shape with like a
Yes.
shortcut in the middle. And also, one of the reasons is because there's vehicles as well. So
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
sometimes one side will spawn with a scorpion tank, and that is just really hard to get them. But I
Yes.
guess I enjoy launch site because of the game one side attacks and try and get the flag and take it back. And I've had some good games in those, so that I guess that helps my preference in launch site. So what map do you like then, if you don't like launch site?
Oh yeah. The map I like the most is probably Recharge. It's actually the first map I ever played on this game. It has a lot of verticality, and it got a very good power location. So it's good to have the high ground, but it's also not too hard for people to overtake it because
Yeah.
there's a lot of route for you to go over there.
Yes.
So overall, it feels quite balanced, and you actually got a little bit more long range combat if you know where to go.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Yeah, I think the verticality is great. I think in total there would be three levels
Yes.
in Recharge, right? And so there are many great maps. I think there are currently 10 in total. They did say that there will be more maps coming. And as you mentioned, there's something called Big Team Battle as well. And I think for the maps, it's split into three different types of maps. We have the 4v4 arena shooter maps, okay? Like Acres, and then Recharge, those. And then you have slightly bigger maps, which have vehicles as well, like Launch Site and Behemoth. Okay, I didn't like Behemoth to start. It's like a death bowl around.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just one building in the middle. But recently, I enjoyed a game there on CTF, and where I only got 3 kills. Okay, don't laugh. but I did capture 3 flags as well. It's the first time. Normally, I'm not really good at capturing
Wow.
flags, but that's why
Playing the
Behemoth is
objective.
now. Yeah, that's why Behemoth is now on my list. And then there are a few maps for Big Team Battle as well. And I can't say much about Big Team Battle because I haven't been enjoying it as much. Like a lot of people say that there has been many problems, and they have done an update to fix it. So maybe we can talk about it next time when we try it a bit more.
Yes. So that's probably a take on the maps. So let's
Yes.
move on to how the core gameplay feel about it. Jax, how would you compare Halo to other shooters you played?
I am enjoying Halo. Okay, to prove it, I used to play Titanfall all the time, Titanfall 2.
Yes,
And
we did,
now
yeah.
I've decided to, maybe give that a little break and mainly focus on Halo Infinite multiplayer. I really enjoy it. It's different. I mean, to start, it's free, but I did buy the battle pass, so it's just to support the developers. I feel like,
Yeah.
and I enjoy it. I like the teamwork. I really like the gunplay.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I really like is just quite bug free to start. As soon as it was launched, it just felt really smooth. There's not many
Yeah.
problems with it. I mean, obviously balancing issues. Every new game there would be balancing issues. But overall, the gunplay is solid. The equipment's nice. It's not as slow. I feel like it's not as slow as Halo 5 multiplayer. I think with the grapple and the other equipments,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really help as well. And the maps is great. How about you?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the gameplay?
Yeah, actually, the core gameplay I like the most is basically it requires skills, but also it requires a lot of teamwork. So
Yes.
if 2 players go one-on-one, they have a fair ground to fight. But if it is 1-on-2 or like 2-to-3, you'll most likely die if you don't work with your team. So
Yes.
it really is different. I mean, it takes a lot of teamwork, so you have to, even though if you don't talk to people online, you still need to work together. And in a way they do works. It was quite fun, yeah.
Yes, and it helps that there is a ranked match mode as well. So you get to play the different. You still get to play the same game modes, but now you start with a battle rifle instead. And obviously you can progress through the rank like all other multiplayer games, But I feel like now that winning the match means more, you really have to stick with your team a lot more as well. So you can't lone wolf it all the time, unless you're, of course, like dead good. Then of course you can do whatever you want. But if you're an average gamer like myself, then you better
And me.
stick with your team, And I feel like with flanking, it's really different. We talked about this earlier today, actually. Like, we feel like with flanking, you still need to stick with your team and to just flank on the room next to it rather than do the other side of the map, you know? So definitely, the teamwork, yes, is really important.
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like we are enjoying Halo multiplayer, you know, Ron? Me and
Yes,
you,
we are.
we got to put more time into it though, I feel like, you know, play a bit more ranked,
Yes.
you know? So,
Get that aim up.
yes, so our listeners and our audience, you know, have you tried Halo multiplayer yet? If not, I hope today's episode will give you a big reason to try it. I mean, to be honest, it's free. So all you need to do is set up, if you're on PC, Steam, or Microsoft Store, download it, and then start playing it. If you have an Xbox, then I don't know what you've been waiting for, you know? So,
Yeah. You don't actually need Game Pass for it. You don't even need an Xbox Live subscription. It's free to play. So
yeah,
even for the
exactly.
multiplayer part, yeah.
Yes. So if you're a PlayStation gamer and if you have a PC, then just play it on the PC, you know? There you go.
Yeah, we need 2 more members for our team.
Yes, we definitely do, and we're always welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the first episode of the L2LT podcast. Let us know if you like what we've been talking about, and do put in the comments what you'd like to hear us talk about in the future. If you've enjoyed our work, press like to give us some motivation to continue, and subscribe if you'd like to follow our journey with the new channel.
You can also follow us on IG. For audio listeners, you can follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Links in the description. Have a good one and stay strong.
Yes,
Thank you.
remember to aim first before you shoot.
Yes.
See you later, guys.